The power of PQ for success. If someone asks me what the most important thing is, I use a word called PQ. This might be something new for you. Have you heard of PQ? If not, let me explain. From PQ, 3 words are formed. The first word is persistence, which is commonly used in this form. The second is perseverance, which is like the elder sibling of persistence and is also part of the UPSC syllabus. The third, the youngest sibling, is patience. These 3 are part of emotional intelligence, but they require special focus, especially if you're preparing for the UPSC exam. If it were a small exam, it might not be a big deal, but you have chosen a big battle. This is not a small skirmish in the neighborhood. It's like Alexander's invasion of India. The real reason Alexander had to retreat from India is debated, but in my opinion, the main reason was that his army had lost its perseverance. If an army loses its perseverance, it cannot fight or win. The biggest crisis is losing perseverance. The basic meaning of persistence is to keep making continuous efforts. It's about that element of continuity. Now, let me share some psychological insights. Some of you might feel like you were pushed into this by your parents who said, Chaudhary's son became an IAS officer and you won't. Some of you might have been forced into this, and I can sense that. Even if you don't raise your hands, I can understand the sentiment. For such students, motivation is tough, but it will come gradually. Maybe after a few months of studying, you'll start enjoying it. It's like in Hindi movies where a forced marriage initially faces resistance, but eventually the couple falls in love. Similarly, some of you might not have come to Delhi to prepare for the IAS exam, but to explore opportunities in a big city. In small towns and villages, opportunities are limited, but in Delhi, there's a lot of noise about opportunities. People often think that in Europe or America, life is perfect, but that's not true. Every society has its challenges. Similarly, some people come to Delhi or Mumbai thinking it's paradise, but it's not. Some of you might have convinced your parents to let you come to Delhi by pretending to study seriously. You might have told your father, I think I'll become an IAS officer, and he, dreaming of this for generations, supports you. But in reality, you might be planning to explore Delhi with your friends. Some of you might have come with a burning desire to become an IAS officer no matter what. For such students, the chances of success are higher because this exam requires self-motivation. Without it, there's no way to succeed. Now let's talk about what happens to such students. Some of you might feel demotivated when you see someone else succeeding. You might see an IAS officer being celebrated, and you feel ignored. This can either demotivate you or motivate you to work harder. Sometimes a personal incident, like a false case filed against you, can ignite a fire within you to prove yourself. But such motivation often fades after a few days. You might make a strict timetable, study for 16 hours a day for a week, and then lose steam. This is because motivation that burns too brightly doesn't last long. It's like anger. Intense anger doesn't last for hours. It lasts for a few seconds or minutes, but in that time, you might do something that has lifelong consequences. Emotional intelligence is crucial, especially for the UPSC exam. If anger controls you, you might do something that will harm you for life. So, when anger arises, talk to it. Say, brother, I will get angry when I want to, not when you want me to. Learn to control your emotions. Persistence means you don't need a fire that burns out quickly. You need a slow, steady flame that keeps burning. You need to maintain this flame for 2 years, consistently studying for 8-10 hours a day. If you miss a day, make up for it the next day. This is what persistence is. Perseverance is a bit more serious. It involves determination and strong willpower. Patience means you might not succeed immediately, but you need to keep your patience intact. Success in the UPSC exam is not about quick results. It's about long-term effort. Kabir Das said, "Slowly, slowly everything happens. The gardener waters the plants, and when the season comes, the fruits appear." Similarly, you need to be patient. If you water a plant today and expect it to grow tomorrow, it won't happen. Success takes time. Mahatma Gandhi is a great example of perseverance. He spent 32 years struggling for India's independence. He faced failures, criticism, and personal losses, but he never gave up. His emotional intelligence and perseverance made him successful. The lesson here is that if you don't achieve your goal today, you might achieve it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the day after. No matter how many times you fail, get up and keep moving forward with determination. This is the attitude you need for the UPSC exam. It's a 2-year battle, and there will be moments when you feel like giving up. But if you miss a day of study, make up for it the next day. On average, if you study for 8-10 hours a day for 25 days a month, you'll be on track. Don't be too rigid. Life has its ups and downs. If you miss a few days, it's okay. Just make sure you compensate for it later.